Hello, welcome back. In this module, we're going to combine quite a few concepts that we have discussed throughout the semester. So this module actually works both as a review and a synthesis. The title of this module is called the Weighted Average Cost of Capital, or sometimes simplified as the cost of capital. This is perhaps one of the most important module because in determining whether or not a project or a business is a worthwhile investment, one of the very important factor is the opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost in finance is often referred to as the opportunity cost of capital. So what this represents is what kind of return a particular investor or a company can earn if they do not invest in the current project at hand. So this is a very powerful concept, and we're going to dive into that in details. You may recall when we discussed the time value of money and when we first introduced the vocabularies of finance that we said that the opportunity cost or the cost of capital is synonymous of the concept of required return. This is two sides of the same coin because when we say, well, what is the opportunity cost is the return the investor is giving up if they participate in this project. So let's say an investor have a choice of investing in a real estate investment trust or they can purchase an actual building. Assuming that the investor can choose between the two, then by choosing to invest in the building, then he's giving up the opportunity to invest in the real estate investment trust. And as any rational investor will determine, is that they should earn at least as much as, if not more, than what they are giving up. So what they are giving up, the opportunity cost, then automatically becomes their required return. So if someone comes to me with a business proposition, I will first think about, well, what else can I earn, which is the opportunity cost or the cost of capital. And then I'll turn around and demand or require that the proposed project should generate at least as much. So that is the essence behind the concept of cost of capital and required return. One of the very important things to keep in mind is the concept of risk, which we spent a lot of time in the last module discussing. So the required return or the discount rate that we will use in evaluating projects should be based on the risk of the cash flow. So the most important use of the required return or the weighted average cost of capital is in computing the net present value of a project. So in summary, when we are evaluating a project should earn at least the required return to compensate for what what the investor is giving up in terms of other investment opportunities. So if an investor is putting money or financing the project, this is the minimum required return they take. For when we're looking at projects for a company, this gets slightly more complicated, which is the focus of this particular module. Because a company is seldom financed 100% equity. A company typically will use debt as well as equity. And therefore, when we talk about investors, we're talking about both bondholders and stockholders. So in the next video, we're going to go for a brief review of how to compute required return for bondholders, how to compute required return for stockholders. See you in the next video.